about no grades that my baby done had because I get them on the parent square.
Correct.
Don't be telling me about no events coming up because again I get the newsletter. The fuck? The text message was very nice. It was like, and all I could say was, "Thank you, period. I appreciate it, period." Because if you give a nigga an exclamation point,
oh, that's an invite in. It's like, come on in.
or you give a nigga
Mr. Rogers,
an
come
emoji,
down.
you give a nigga an emoji or something.
Yeah.
Never ending. Anyway, yeah, so that's life. But you gotta do the same thing. I'll say like once you off it, be off it, and I think I said this last week. When you bounce, there's no replacing you. That's it. They gonna feel it. They gonna feel your absence. Like,
Shoot,
that's
y'all go ahead.
The crazy thing is like we're trying to be so circumspect because it's also like we want to talk, but it's like, niggas might hear
it. Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes they might need to hear. What's it? I'm not arrogant. I just know who the fuck I am. I'm talking about. I'm not gonna say your names because again, but you know, like, yeah, you messed out. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. They'll get it together maybe one day, but nobody will be here to see it. So, oh well.
Nope.
But I feel like I'm not arrogant. I know who the fuck I am.
Tell us.
You know, so this is the thing. I feel like I always am talking about my childhood. But I feel like since I've been a kid, my parents have always kind of been like, you don't got to deal with nobody else's shit. So that just carried on into my adult life. My parents were young parents. So they got pregnant really early in life. They were just getting out of high school, kind of like me. It's funny how history just repeats itself there. But I think that's what they were trying to prevent. So my dad was always like, don't just listen to what people tell you. See what they do for you, especially when it comes to young boys, men, whatever. Because people will tell you a lot of things. People will whisper sweet nothings in your ear, but that don't really mean shit. So I've always been of the thought that I don't really need any of y'all for nothing. Like, I can hold this shit down by myself. I allow you to be with me, or if you don't want to act right, you can be without me. The decision is yours, though. And I feel like sometimes that can come off as arrogant. It can come off as this independent, I don't need a man for nothing. But that's not true. I feel like I'm not saying that I don't need you for anything. But kind of, I guess that kind of is what I'm saying. I don't need you. I want you. That's different to me.
It is. It's
like, I don't, anything that I need to get done, I can get done. Either I can do it myself or I can pay someone to do it. It's real simple. So
that's a true statement.
I think that sometimes men get that confused because they still have this June Cleaver mentality. Yeah. Like we live in the 1950s and we're damsels in distress and they're taking care of us. But meanwhile, nigga, I work 40 hours. So that's not not a thing anymore. June Cleaver had the privilege of just being taken care of from end to end. That's not what we're doing. So since the pendulum has swung, we need your mentality to catch up. Y'all have to catch up with where we are current times. And I feel like that means that women have to be confident in what we do. Because if we are not our own champions and cheerleading for ourselves, who else is going to do it for us? Nobody. And even when you take it just back to a work perspective, when it comes time for you to write your yearly review and really say what you've done for the year and what you have accomplished, if you don't write it down and you don't say it, people may say some of what you did just because that's kind of their job, but they're not going to catch everything. So you have to make sure that you are championing for yourself and that you are bringing that air of confidence, because closed mouths also don't get fed. So what happens when we can't keep asking for these seats at the table and then not doing shit with them? If you are not confident in your ability and what you bring to the table and what values that you also bring to the company, it's going to go unnoticed. You have to speak up. And it takes a great deal of confidence, because it's scary sometimes to speak up in a group full of people, especially when maybe you aren't the most senior person. But I think that seizing those opportunities are really what sets you apart from others. Like you have to be able to set yourself apart from your peers. So for me, I think that no, I am not arrogant, but I do know who I am. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. I know that you need to value it. Sometimes it might be a bit millennial entitled. I don't give a fuck. It's true. It's true. Because either way, even if I don't have the skill, I know that I will learn the skill.
Exactly.
So we're gonna balance it out, and I'm gonna be up to par. And in no time. And I don't ever want someone to think that I'm arrogant, because I think we talked about it a little bit before. When leadership is arrogant, it comes off really, really bad.
Yeah.
That is not an approachable person. That's not someone who you would ever really want to work with in close quarters and be able to bounce ideas off of and challenge, because their arrogance is never going, you can't pour into into a full cup. So a lot of times that's how I feel about arrogant people. They can't really absorb any more information. So I never want to be arrogant, but I do always want to come off as confident. I want to come off as, I know what I bring. And I mean, if you don't value yourself, nobody will. And I mean, if I was talking about the song of the day, listen to Unpretty. Like, Unpretty tells you everything that you need to know. It starts inside of you, as cliche as it sounds. But if you don't believe it, nobody else is going to. It doesn't matter how much you dress it up, paint it up. No, you gotta buy into what you are selling to others. So that's my take on it.
I definitely agree. It is. Go ahead, Toya.
Question. So with that, I know confidence is absolutely most important, but where do you draw the line with people being able to feel like they can approach you with some type of critiques without feeling like, they're overstepping? Because, sometimes when you're confident, I know for sure I've been called unapproachable. First of all, I'm not very sociable. So it's a thing like, all right, but I don't consider myself a know-it-all in any way, shape, or form. Right. And I tell people, when they do, approach me with things or critiques or something that they think that I could do better in, or maybe, oh, I saw you made this comment, or I saw you, you did this step in a process and perhaps you should have taken this route. Where is it that they don't feel like they're overstepping? Like, I never want someone to come to me and feel like they gotta, it's sometimes in the message and it feels like they're kind of like shrinking in themselves, or if they seem very meek or like even apologetic and even having to approach me. Right. Like, just fucking say it. Like, so is that something, is that something that you feel like in your confidence that comes with it, that people have to build up their own confidence to feel like, all right, don't shrink yourself to approach me? Or do you feel like there's another way to present your confidence where people don't feel like they're shrinking themselves? Or is it, again, a person to person thing? Like, this is my level of confidence, meet me here to communicate with me? Or do you feel like you maybe should in some instances dial it back so you are more, quote, approachable?
So I think it's twofold. I think one, the Black Mama mantra has always been, watch your tone. Watch your tone. I think people can receive your message as long as you bring it in an appropriate manner. So I think that you can always bring any type of critique to me, but talk to me as if even if we're not peers, talk to me like we're peers if you're giving me critique. Or just make sure that you're delivering your message in a way that can be well received. Don't be brash. I know that, and to me, there's a fine line too, even between being brash and being direct. Because you can be direct without being brash. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. But I feel like also speak to me on facts, not emotion.
Emotions. That's the part. Like,
what gets things messed up. When you come to me and you're like, well, I feel, no, don't fucking feel shit. What do you know?
About your feelings.
Yeah, I don't care about your feelings. Your feelings don't, that's not tangible. Don't give me feelings. Don't give me sentiments. I don't want any of that. If you can speak to me and you're saying this is a fact and this is tangible, I will always receive it. So actually, I'll give you an example. One time in my review, I got an exceeds for my actual review standard. But my manager put in there that people come to me a lot and that I was very talkative. Bitch, what are you talking about? How can I be exceeding all of my metrics and all of my standards, but we're talking about how much I talk? And you're talking about the fact that people come to me. How do you even know it's not work related? What are we talking about right now? That's not even something that should be here. So you're telling me about your feelings. You're not telling me about anything that is actually substantive. Like, why would you say this? Just to have something to say? Keep it out. Don't, because I don't receive that. I don't receive feelings. I deal in fact.
Oh, Chile.
That's I have to.
I know I get that work wise, but the way my brain works is also I kind of pour that shit into my personal relationships, which isn't good.
It's hard.
Feelings. Bro, I don't care about your feelings.
No, but I mean, that's real, because when you get into emotions and feelings, that's when it starts to get gray. And when things start to get gray is when trouble, I feel as though, here we go with I think that's when trouble arises. I like when, because naturally, we are needing concrete evidence. I think people are very black and white. And when it becomes gray, that's when things start to be contentious, because everybody wants their feelings recognized.
Right.
But I'm not somebody that wants to talk about their feelings, nor do I want to hear about your feelings, because your feelings to me are probably something that's so stupid that I'm just like, why are we even having this conversation? The fact of this conversation that this is dumb, and let's just move on from it and like never talk about this again. Right. But I know that in this world you cannot do that. But I just I'm the same way. I hate feelings. If we could just be like, hey, morning, cool, let's go, I'm good.
And as
I'm
much
as the conversation a little bit. Yeah, no. As much as they try to act, like you said, as much as men try to act like feelings aren't important, they are. So what I've learned in the past 2 years is that there is a connection that you'll end up with where the feelings are important. And all those opportunities where you've, related with someone is like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about emoting in my goddamn phone? I don't care. But then the person that's like, that this is it. You're that's like, it. Okay, emotions, give me more. Right. Tell me more, bro. Please. So it is difficult because, like you said, Jen, it's kind of like, we're used to facts. Like, give me the facts. And then when you're confronted with that, it's like, am I really about to go here? We about to go here? Because if we go here, we need life jackets, because it's going to be a fucking flood of emotions that I've been, just staving off, like trying to hold back, because nigga, words is words. Like, what you mean?
Right. And I think also,
I hate being a person. I wish I was like a bird.
Sucks. No, but I feel like girls, they speak differently too when shit going on.
I wish I was one of them black squirrels that we got. Like, I want to be a black squirrel.
Of all the animals.
The damn squirrels.
I'm taking a picture of black squirrels in the morning.
I'm not mad at them. Just like,
they are the most beautiful. Black squirrels are the most beautiful squirrels on the planet. Like, you sit and you be like, oh my god, you're just out here living your life being all black and shit. Beautiful.
I have not. Yeah, take a picture, because I've never seen one.
Y'all never seen a black squirrel?
No.
You ever seen a zebra?
Shut up. What you gonna talk about next? The liger? Even though they do look cool.
Ligers exist.
I know. I saw them. They're huge.
I'm with it. I'm definitely with seeing it.
I see a black squirrel every single morning on my run. Like several of them, like 3 or 4 of them. I'm like, y'all niggas out here.
Find out you the black Snow White, and you
I was
got
about to say
animals and stuff running about.
They're beautiful.
I just be excited to see black butterflies.
Literally, like, I'll lay in my bed before I get up, and I'll hear like so many different birds singing. It's just, I don't know why so many different noises and animals around here, but it is, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah. Wait for y'all black girls text in the morning.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking forward.
I look forward to it. Okay. So my question is, and maybe this is just me, and I've learned. Do you find that when you were younger, you were more emotional than you are now? And then do you find that being that you are not as emotional because when you were trying to be such, it was not recognized and you turned that shit off? Because that's me.
Same.
That is me. I am like, I got told I am an ice queen and heartless. And because, but it's just like, yo, when I was like hearts on the sleeve, ready to, write a whole soliloquy.
You were shredding it.
You were, yeah, exactly. Kanye shrug. So now when you want to talk about feelings, I'm hitting